Gaurav. Here we go live. Good. All right. Hey, everybody. It's March 5th, 2025, in case you were wondering, in case it wasn't on your calendar. That's what today is. And it's the Meshery dev meeting. So once a week, we meet on Wednesdays at about Gaurav. Here we go. Hold on. Good. Hey, if you're going to host, you probably shouldn't like listen to the live stream at the same time that you're hosting. Otherwise, you might get feedback. Just a note for everyone else that might happen to. Could everyone hear the feedback that was happening through my microphone? Good. Yeah. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know how that happens. It's like audio coming out and going back into the microphone. Is it just me? It's only me that thinks that's funny. Okay. All right. Anyway, you guys aren't here for the jokes. So it is the weekly Meshery dev meeting that we have on Wednesdays at this time. Meshery is a CNCF project. Meshery is a sandbox project at the moment, but we are up for incubation review. So Meshery is actively, well, I want to say actively under review. And let's take a look and see how active it is. As a CNCF project, we run the community by the CNCF Code of Conduct. So if you have to swear, just put your microphone on mute first and then let it out, come back. And also follow the other rules. It's time to welcome some newcomers. So we do this very fun for me, fun for the host, awkward, like breaking of the ice with anybody who's new on this call. We want to welcome everybody. We try not to leave anyone behind. And so we want to make people feel comfortable. And to do that, we make you feel awkward up front by introducing yourself and saying hi and just how it is that you got here or what your favorite color is or those kinds of things. So let's do that real fast. Hey, my name's Lee. And I'm one of the maintainers. I'm your unfortunate host today. There are some of you that might not have been on this call before, so it's your turn to flip on your webcams, everybody, if you've got them, so we can connect. And I can see just how many of you are laughing at my jokes and how many of you are not laughing at my jokes, maybe more importantly. And then I'd like to say, ask a couple of you to introduce. So, Oye Fool, if I didn't say it terribly. Oye Fool, if this is your first time on the call, say hi. There are a couple of Chinese characters that I can't read. That would be nice to say hi from. But yeah, Oye Fool, do you want to? Olio Wato?
Mic check. Can you hear me?
Yep. Check. 1, 2, 3.
Right. Sorry, there's going to be like scratching background noise. I think I was introducing myself the last time, I think on Monday when I joined, and I was like, is it Vivek? You got the pronunciation of my name correctly, and that was surprising, right? Even with my Nigerian folks, I don't always, I always have to pronounce my name. Yeah, so the pronunciation is Oyefule, but Oye is okay. New to the community. Yeah, Oye. I'm a computer science graduate, software engineering option. I'm into backend engineering and DevOps. I sort of started my tech journey in front end, so I do have some front end skills as well. I think sometime around the close of last year, I kind of like made open source a target for me, next step, something I'd like to get into. And coincidentally, well, surfing through CNCF, I came across Meshery, applied, and then I also came across Meshery while surfing through uh, GSOC. So it's lovely being here. I'm still trying to understand the project, right? I do understand it on the surface, but I don't just want to jump right into contribution. So I'm still trying to make sure that I get the scope of the project, in depth. Well, not in depthly, but to a very to an extent where I won't just be writing code. I would understand what I'm working on. Yeah, so that's basically it. So that was it.
Lee, you're on mute.
Oh, geez, man, I'm so rusty at this hosting thing. It's terrible. Oh, yeah. Thanks for that. It's nice to meet you. It's good to get introduced. Thanks for introducing on, the call on Monday and here, because different people attend different ones. And so that's good. I can't help but think of the Spanish word for listen, oye, I think, each time that I hear your name. And so good. Anyway,
I'm Nigerian, not
yeah, no,
Spanish.
totally. It just so happens that it is also the same way that you pronounce listen in Spanish, which is the way that I'll remember how to say oye, I think. But yep, Nigerian from Lagos by chance?
Yeah, Lagos.
Lagos. Nice.
Yeah.
With Naira. Some Naira floating around over there.
Yeah, def.
Ah, right. All right. Oh, good. Hey, who else can I harass today? Who else wants to say hi? So so by the way, all of your webcams, you're welcome to turn them on, like hairbrushed or not. Like we're here to connect. We're here. A lot of this meeting is for not for me necessarily, but for everybody else. A lot of the things we end up covering are helping ensure that maintainers are in sync with one another, but also we end up spending a fair bit of time trying to help ensure that relatively new contributors are feeling comfortable and finding their way forward. And so video webcams is a way of connecting. If you don't turn it on, then I'll assume that you don't care enough or you're not here to contribute. So I won't engage with you necessarily. Good. There's a pleasant young man on the phone with two Chinese characters that just have me befuddled. Do you want to introduce and say hi? Yeah, your microphone's on mute, I think. Yeah, I couldn't find the mute button either. But if you press and hold down your space bar, it might temporarily unmute. So you can never find it when you need it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, who's on the call? It's kind of like Matthew, who's on the call. He's just never around when you need him. I'm just kidding, Matthew. Anyway, maybe the gentleman who has his microphone, who's looking for the mute button, feel free to sound off in chat to the extent that the mute button continues to evade you. That damn thing. Yep. Yep. Okay. All right. Good. All right. Anybody else would like to be harassed today? Apparently, that's what happens. Kamagna? Tamagna. You're a second year student. You're here, you're doing Golang. Have you introduced on this call before?
I was on this call one time, but
Oh,
I
you do?
haven't introduced, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm Tamagna. I'm a second year engineering student from India, and I'm interested in DevOps and backend stuff. And I found out about Meshery through LFX, which was like 6 months back. And then from that time on, I was just contributing here and there to like small issues and stuff. And then like now I think I have a better understanding of the code base to contribute more. So like I'm looking forward to learning, and that's all.
That's excellent. You've got a PR or two under your belt already, I think, if memory serves, or
Yes.
three or four.
Yeah, I think 6.
Or who's counting, but 25 or something. They're just, yeah, nice. 7 or 6. Geez, 7 or 6. And this is your first time saying hi on the call. I can only imagine what it's going to be a week from now. So anybody else want to say hi before we need to move on?
Hey everyone, I can introduce myself, I guess. Hi Lee.
Sai.
I'm Sai. Actually, I'm from Hyderabad, India. I work as a blockchain developer. Like I mainly deal with Golang and Kubernetes, and also I use most of the open source products by Linux Foundation. Like for example, Hyperledger Fabric, Kverno, Kubernetes. Is the multiple things I use here. I'm looking forward to give my development skills over your mystery. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Very good. Did you say that you're a working professional or a student? Professional student.
Uh, I'm a working professional. Like I have 2.5 years of experience with
Nice.
League.
Yeah. I like how you get specific too. It's like
Mm.
it's like when you have an 18-month-old baby, you actually name the months, like a year and a half, 1.5. Good. And I'm just see, there's
Tough
harassment.
enough. Mm.
There's harassment for everybody. So if you're the recipient of it, it's a good thing, generally. Thanks, Sai. This is great. It's great to have you, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, hey, if you didn't get a chance to say hi, please do it. Like we'll verbally. Yeah,
Hi Lee, hi everyone. This is Pranay. Uh, Let me know if you guys can hear me.
totally can't at all. Can't hear you.
Great. I'm a master student. Uh, I am from India, but I currently reside in US. Um, I have been actively looking at Meshery repo from last 2 months. Uh, uh, I st I am thinking to contribute to some of the backend chains like the server or the CTL parts. So needed some help there. Yeah.
Nice. Any specific component just yet?
Uh, I was going through the server section, the one which serves as a middleware. Uh, so not a specific component, but yeah, I was just exploring the sections.
Yeah, totally. Hey, as you guys do, as many of us do, even actually, even for me, I've been around the project for a long time, and I was just pulling up this particular resource. I'm going to drop a link to it, or Vivek might, or somebody else might. But this architecture deck is that's really helpful. Actually, no matter what you're focused on in Meshery, this is a super helpful deck to go through and to probably come back to a time or two because it's a large project. So
Yes.
nice. All right. Well, hey, if you didn't get a chance to say hi verbally, please do it in chat. And I promise that someone will harass you. It will be good. All right, enough harassing. It's nice to have everybody. We are 20 something minutes in. This is why Lee generally doesn't host, because the guy won't shut up and he keeps making jokes and stuff like that. So somebody else usually does it, which is when we get more stuff done. One of the things that we wanted to announce today, or just that's happening in the community, is I don't think we got a chance to celebrate, but there's 3 or so LFX interns that just started. So good, fresh meat. We'll sink our teeth into. Just kidding. We do LFX all the time. Meshery does. Meshery has its own LFX. It also participates in the CNCF LFX. Meshery has its own GSOC, and it also participates in the CNCF GSOC. So both. So there's just like internships everywhere. Too few mentors. Meshery's got the most popular LFX internship there is. So we really take those internships seriously. We get a lot of stuff done. All right. We also have a standing agenda. Meshery's got different components. We want to take a moment to try to keep pace with what's happening in the rest of them. And so if Matthew and Amit might want to give us an update on the 2 clients of Meshery Server.
Yep, I'm here. So on my hand, not a lot of thing to update. I have already started to work on the Meshery end-to-end test with BATS framework, which is in progress. I have one peer. I think it's already listed there. I'm not sure, but there's only one point that I will discuss later on it that is blocking us to really starting the work. And other that, I can say that we have an issue open to create a new subcommand, which is Meshery init. And yes, that's it for that command for now.
Nice. Okay. There's one. Okay. Matthew, I apologize, man. You would have just said this and I might have missed it. Did you just talk about the Meshery CTL model init?
Model init, yes.
Oh, you did. Okay. We should drop a link. Is Nikita on the call with us? She is a new contributor. I don't think she's here, but Nikita B had just signed up to help with. Oh, there we are. She's right. Nikita isn't here though, right? I wonder if we might ping her in Slack and see if she's available. But yeah, Matthew, if you don't mind, we would do well to list the request for comment on that newly proposed subcommand. And then that way others can weigh in and people can keep pace on what's going on there. Matthew, also so like about every 2 weeks, we have a Meshery build and release meeting. Do you want to speak to what we might do next Thursday and in the next CI meeting?
Okay, so currently the unique issue I have, it's the logging with Meshery server when we want to run commands. Locally, it's working properly, but it's not working in the CI. It's just that I need to find a way to make it work in the CI. And once this will be done, we will be able to implement real test. For example, I was able to test Meshery model list command. It's working locally, but it just in the CI that it's not working currently.
Gotcha.
Model count, yes.
Nice, yeah. So in this, yeah. So the command itself works interactively when you run it locally, but in this workflow,
Yes. The BATS suite, it's working locally, but not in the CRI. I can drop the link.
Yeah. Good. Yep. Good, Matthew. I'm just kind of sharing as you speak.
Yes. Let me just find. And basically, the issue I have it's logging with Meshery server.
And so, good. And so, Mercy, you want to chime in?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I wanted to ask if we can include like a debug flag. Because I encountered an issue and then I was trying to like get the exact debug message and I was unable to use that debug command. So I don't know if it's something we can work on, or maybe when I'm done with my task, I can jump in on that.
And this is the
Not sure debug command, debug flag. Okay, it should
Yeah,
be
like
for the log level, right? If
yeah,
I'm rightly.
yeah, that's right.
yes.
I'm not sure because it was already set before I started work on Meshery, but I can take a look in how it is um, working and come back to you.
Thank you.
As you got, yeah, I couldn't say off the top of my head either. But I will say that Meshery server as a component, it does have a runtime flag for log level for debug. And so to the extent that that helps, or to the extent that Mercy ends up proposing something similar for Meshery CTL, there's some prior art here. So wonderful. I don't know how clear any of that was to all of the rest of you, but one of the things that Matthew was just saying is that, so Matthew, by the way, is, if you can't tell, speaks French. and I haven't really gotten a chance to harass him about that. So I'm kind of sad. I have to do that more. But he is a maintainer of Meshery CLI, and he has been working to ensure that not only does Meshery CLI have any number of unit tests, which it is, the commands have had for some time, but also that there is any number of end-to-end tests performed for each of the Meshery CTL commands. And so he's identified a testing framework for writing out these end-to-end tests. And so he has just gotten done sort of establishing the first round of what that test suite might be. And so there's this open PR right here. It's a really sweet opportunity for any of you to jump in, comprehend, provide feedback, and collaborate with him on like the long list of tests that need to be written. There's a long list of Meshery CTL commands. There's commands and subcommands and flags and parameters, and there's quite a bit of different combinations and things. There's a spreadsheet that captures them all. Anyway, there's a whole meeting dedicated to this discussion, and Matthew's one of those individuals to connect with. And so if any of you are comfortable with Bash, actually, what is this? BATS stands for Bash Automated Testing Suite, testing system or something. And, oh man, I'm good. I am good. It's not suite, it's system. Anyway, I can't encourage you enough to get involved with Matthew and what the initiative that he's leading here. I think he's planning to have a contributor go over a session on the framework in about a week and a half. So be there, be square. Good. Matthew also highlighted the fact that there is one of the things that's being tracked in Meshery CLI is a couple of new, well, subcommands, or maybe even a couple of new commands. This particular spreadsheet well, itemizes at a high level, or maybe not even at a high level, but it itemizes at a low level and high level each of the Meshery CLI commands and sort of and all of their subcommands. So the system command, all of its subcommands, and all the flags and et cetera, and whether or not they're being tested. And there's a whole spreadsheet that goes over the test cases and things. And so I'm only bringing it up just to say that there are a number of commands that have been well established for some time. And then Matthew and some of the other maintainers plan for new commands, so fresh work. And one of those that had gone out earlier in the week is one that if you're subscribed to Meshery's mailing list, you'll get an email for. Hopefully everybody's familiar with the mailing lists that are out here. One of the more active ones is this developers one, but feel free to jump on any of them. And so I'm going to grab this link because I think this is the call for review of that particular command. Okay. Oh, man. Now that I've completely skipped all around, Amit, do you want to give an update on the UI as a client?
Yeah, I just quickly shared the update. Yeah, so this is a place where we track all of this migration that happen in the UI, like this material UI migration and the class-based to component migration. We previously finished the material UI version 4 to 5 migration, and now we are tracking like this class-based to functional-based component migration. So for the last week, we done with this 3 component, and for this 4th component, the PR has been created. So, and after that, like this main component is only left. And yeah, after that, we done with this, the functional based migration. So any question?
So I see a couple.
Yeah. So I want to share updates that I have like almost converted all Grafana functional components, but there are like I need to test them well because Grafana component is not working well enough for now. So when I, I will like try implementing it first and then like share the create pull request and all of this. So the major changes I have like in place.
Okay. Yeah. So ping me after creating the PR with this Grafana component.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, I hope I'm audible.
Yeah.
Hello, Amit. So thank you for having so much feedback on that PR. So apart from that, yesterday I had a call with Falgun. So there we were trying to make there is a folder in Systent. So there was a folder of site, and when we were trying to use those commands, that site was not being created. So it was giving too many issues. And there was one more feedback given to me on by the Vishal and Vivek basically. So he told me that we might migrate that system all thing to a unique website basically. We might move that particular website from layer 5 to a different website. So I hope I can contribute on that heavily. So that
Yeah.
sounds great.
Yeah, there might be the linting issue in the Systent site directory. Okay.
Thank you.
We can move to the next agenda.
All right. All right. We are So good. So Ian, you're up if you're here.
Yeah, so I have this issue and then it connected just a PR to kind of prove it out. Essentially, this fixes the environment for currently there's kind of a race condition on downloading the .env from your local directory, which is kind of frustrating at this point because the code and think it should work, and so limit some contributors from kind of diving in here. So I wanted to correct for that. Additionally, I also made some progress on the E2E testing, and I got some feedback on the CLI.
I think Ian, like there was one probably like dot env dot example, like I think that's meant to be like kept just so like people know like what things need to be going to the environment file. But yeah, I think if I'm right,
Yeah,
like
but
did
right
you
now, if you
remove
look at the
the
code,
yeah.
yeah, it's detailed in this issue, but just to kind of flesh that out a little bit more. So there's kind of two usages of this env file. Primarily in the spec files, they are used to just redirect to like a Meshery base URL or route. Playwright exposes a big URL in a config, which we should leverage versus env. So one is to deprecate the usage of that all these spec files. The other bug that I was mentioning is when we import the env file or a script.
Is it me or like did we lose Ian?
I think he said the magic word and Zoom kicked him out. Well, he'll be back, I'm sure. Would it be okay? So we'll continue and circle right back.
Yeah.
Mr. Ramwani, Kapil, you're up.
And you're good, yeah. You traveled a lot or something? Like the pronunciations you come up with are pretty close to native.
It's cool. Yeah. I mean, people have been making fun of the way that I pronounce their names forever. I just try to avoid getting made fun of for it. So that's my whole motivation. It's just
You were better than even my classmates at college and school. But yeah, getting into things. So I have a PR that fixes like the issue that we are having with the local provider not being able to save credentials. Yash has feedback that we should move the persistence for credentials to a separate file like we have for connections and stuff. But I've already started a issue and I have received like n number of requests. Like people wanted to work on that issue. I have people reaching out to me on LinkedIn as well. So shout out to everybody. But so I just wanted to check with Yash, like, do you mind if we merge the fix first and then wait for the refactor so that I can continue on my Grafana and Prometheus commitments? Because like what I want to do is like get done with O9 commitments that I have so that I can then start focusing on the project list we have for GSOC or LFX.
I think there's two Yash Sharmas in the community. So we've got
Okay.
we've got
I understand.
and they're both mesh mates. They're both mesh mates as well, which makes it even more difficult to. It's just that one of them is so much better looking than the other is. Oh, wait. Just kidding.
You're not supposed to say that.
Yeah. Anyway, anyways,
Yeah, so I just wanted to check with you, Yash. Like, the Yash who's here, if he can tell me.
yeah. Mr. Sharma, you're the other Sharma, is that right?
Yes, yes.
The good looking one? Okay, good. Okay. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Just math. Anyway, yeah. Kapil,
Okay.
it makes sense. I mean, to move forth here. There's one, by the way, there's one. I don't know that this is an issue as much as there's one way in which the phrasing of the issue that was opened to help with this is the credential that's being saved, it's being persisted to database, right? To the
Yeah,
Meshery. Okay.
yeah, the SQLite database. Yeah,
Oh, very good.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Now that is for like the lack of a better issue to pin it to, because the last one that I had got completed. I, I didn't feel like reopening it, so I've attached it to this one. Like, this will help fix that one partially, but actually, like, yeah, if I could open a new issue for this and tag it to that one also. But yeah,
No, okay. Yep. No, this
cool.
is
So yeah, that's the only thing I wanted to check about. But yeah, apart from this, pretty much I'm like with Falgun's help. Shout out to the guy who's done a lot of work, lot of help on React side. With his help, I'm about to close on like once we get Grafana fixed. I'm working on his branch, so together I think we'll get Grafana fixed, and then I'll be done with all my own I know commitments. Then I'll start looking. Either I can keep working in hotel, or and maybe if I'm able to, then I'll have some proposals for the things that we have for GSOC. If I'm interested in participating in GSOC also. But yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you, everyone.
anybody else have comment on Kapil's work here? Abid or Amit, you guys haven't checked this out just yet, have you?
No, I didn't take a look at this one.
Oh, okay. Good.
Just like I actually, I think I might have taken a look. There was some, I think, change in the credential schema. Like I was thinking like maybe at some we might also move that to schemas and generate it from there. This struct from for credential.
It's worth spending time on this for a moment. Do you want to say that one more time, Abid, just to make sure that Kapil is following that practice?
So yeah, like for all of the constructs that we have in Meshery and that are also reused in some of the other projects related to Meshery, we store all of them inside. We basically go through schema-driven development. So first we define the schema, and using that schema, we generate these reusable structs. So all of the projects are using the same structs, and we can have a proper contract. So inside this repo, like the schemas repo, we have defined the JSON schemas for all of these constructs, and then there are workflows that generate the Golang structs and also TypeScript types for these, and also I think Open API documentation for all of the defined structs. So I think for credentials, it might be already defined the JSON schema for a credential. We just need to generate the structs and use them.
Okay,
Or
that's
unless
news to me.
that's
I
not
missed that.
defined, then we just need to put that schema also here.
So I followed what the connection struct was following. Like I tried to mimic that, but maybe I might have missed the fact that that connection struct might be coming from the schemas directly. So if you don't mind, if is there a documentation around like how can I put a schema in there and then reuse it in my Go code? Is there already
Actually, I
some
think there
documentation around it?
should be some documentation in Meshery. Let me check. Then also like inside this repo, like how to define the schemas and how to generate them. That should be locally defined here. I think there should be some
Okay.
documentation regarding the schema-driven development.
Sure, and go there and like yeah, that make the schema come from there for sure.
Yeah.
I am the one who's been most hit by the
Yeah, so like
difference in the schemas. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was
Sorry.
saying like you might also not, I don't know, because like the connection work was a bit old. Maybe that's also not like in Meshery, that might not be using a struct from like the schema. So you might just check like if it's coming from that schemas Go package. So where that schemas Go package which gets bundled with all of the
Okay.
generated
So there's
structs.
a Go. So whatever
Yeah.
we change to the schema repository, I'll get a Go package for it, right? Okay,
Yeah,
now that
yeah.
feels much better.
Then
I
we
thought
just
it will
forget.
generate the struct and I'll have to copy the struct. But if it's a Go package, I can import stuff,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
yeah,
Then maybe connections also would need that refactoring. But with credentials, I guess then I'm good to do that.
yeah,
But I'll expand the scope of my issue. Then I'll raise a new issue and expand the scope to
yeah,
include like things that need to be done on schema side. Cool. Cool. Then I
yeah.
think then the O9 stuff needs time to be completed because this is gonna be a, I don't know how significant this undertaking is, but yeah, I'll take my time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like actually, like if we were diligent before, then it shouldn't be that much. Like if the existing struct in Meshery is same as the one that would be defined in schema, then there shouldn't be that many changes. But I think that that should be case because like we kind of had I think the structs first generated then defined the schema, so I think they should be more or less in sync.
Okay, I hope. You're going through. Okay, you have connections there. Pretty
but,
cool.
yeah, but
Something like that.
maybe not credential just yet. And actually, with credential and connection, there's a little bit of cleanup that needs to be done here in the schemas folder. That ideally, really none of the constructs are defined under this folder, but rather they're defined, in a versioned folder. So
Yeah.
there are only so many constructs that have been meticulously reviewed and versioned. And there's only so many that we've taken down this path. As a project, one of the things we're in need of doing is ensuring that some of the rest of these are kind of cut and paste, so to speak, or like that they are promoted and versioned. And I'm not sure that that's happening just yet. So,
Yeah.
so there is, yeah. This is a topic that schema-driven development is a topic that we need to make more prominent, and we need to make sure that it's entirely comfortable and that contributing docs are well written around it. Good, fair enough.
Good.
Where are we at? Are we down to Pratik? Yep, Pratik, if you're here, do you want to share and talk about your agenda item? And I thought he was here. Maybe he's not. But so Falgun is with us. Falgun, you want to?
Yes, I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first point is that when I was converting Meshery app component, uh, you might notice that the file that I was converting was like 800 lines of code, and it might be difficult for reviewer to review this file as well. So what I think is because it is working properly, we might merge this request, and if there are if it needs refactoring going ahead, I can help with the refactoring as well, because it would be like much more tedious task to review this much lines of code for a reviewer. And thank you, Shudhanshu, for reviewing it. And okay. So
Yeah,
also,
I will look into PR by
but
building this local.
okay, well, yes. And one more thing is that we are working on this Grafana component refactoring also. And I noticed that some APIs were like data fetch APIs, and their conversions to RTK APIs do not exist, and therefore I created new RTK queries for this Grafana APIs, and I have like converted this Grafana component into functional component. But since there are some issues with connection of Grafana. Therefore, it will take some time to merge them. I am working on it with Kapil, and I'm happy to collaborate with him. Okay.
Amit, Abid, anything to cover there?
Yeah,
No, no,
that makes
I don't
sense. Like, uh, if you fix that the connection within this the migration PR, and it will good to merge after the fix all of this issue with the component.
Thanks. Very good. All right. Mr. Prakash, do you want to chat through an update on Assistant?
Yes.
All right.
So yeah, this was the issue that I was working on. So basically, most of the components were moved from FontAwesome to System. So we were deprecating the use of FontAwesome in our Meshery. So, but still, some components were still using the FontAwesome. So this was an issue to basically completely move from FontAwesome to System UI. So first of all, I would like to thank Amit and Falgun for helping me in this, because there were some issues that I was not able to solve. So I got connected to Falgun and he helped me. Apart from that, Amit very humbly told me about the feedbacks. So I have completed all those feedbacks, and yeah, this particular PR is ready to be merged. Apart from this, I was also working on the layer 5. There I needed to create a different section for the icons. So I have created it, but yeah, there were some feedbacks. So I'm currently working on them as well. Yeah, for this, yeah, that was all for my past weekend. Sorry, the past week, I've just done this much because I was having some of my exams. Thank you.
Amit, Abid, Falgun, or others, feedback or comments?
actually like for FontAwesome, like if you have like for any of the icons that were not previously run, like we have used them from System, and then we can just remove the whole package from Meshery UI. And I think somebody else was also working on the extension side, so we should be able to altogether remove the package completely from Meshery.
So yeah, thank you for giving that feedback. But yeah, there was only 4 to 5 icons that were missing in the system that were being used in the Meshery. So what I did was I first created those icons in the system, and after that, while updating that package to 14.162, all those icons were present in system as well. So yeah, that was all.
So yeah, just like small thing to confirm, like in System, did you add an SVG icon, or like what did you add there?
I added the SVG icon there.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah.
Ready. Great. Hey, my turn. There's a couple of things to note. Let me start with this one, which is KubeCon EU is coming up in about a month, I think. And Meshery, as a project, will be participating in the Security Slam at KubeCon EU. I'll share this link. This is probably the best resource to go look at for what the Security Slam is and understanding it. I'll be sending out an email to the developers at Meshery.io mailing list about how Meshery is participating and what we're going to do, or like how we're going to identify security issues and how we're going to fix them, or what the focus will be. And so there'll be a meeting or two before KubeCon EU on our participation here. Actually, we'll meet with Eddie, actually, specifically. And so we'll make sure that invite goes out to the mailing list so that folks that want to participate can. I don't know. One of the points of clarification is whether or not you need to be present at KubeCon to participate in the security slam. I don't think so. I wouldn't think so. For sure, I can tell you that if Meshery has a security issue, you don't have to physically be at KubeCon to work on it and fix it. But we'll know a little bit more as we go to have this first meeting. And I guess you can read through what the event has been in years past, using this as an example. I know that the focus that we will have for Meshery as a project will be specific to Meshery. So that's about as far as the details that I have at the moment. So yeah, stay tuned. The second thing is, that there's a proposal for Meshery as a project to be more or less split into two GitHub organizations. So the current organization that you all are familiar with is github.com/Meshery. Good. It looks like this. There are many of you that are here and doing good things. It looks like almost 7,000 stars just on the one repo. It looks great. This organization is comprised of 33 repositories. Good. Meshery's no chump, right? Meshery's not a small project. Meshery is an extensible platform. There are a number of different ways in which you all and others can extend Meshery, can use the platform to do different things. One of the ways to get a bird's eye view of the various extensions that have been written to date for Meshery is to go to meshery.io/extensions and browse the 15 or so that are here. Extensions come in different shapes and sizes. To understand that a little bit, especially if you'd like to create an extension, create a plugin, create an adapter, create a provider. These are the various ways in which the different shapes and forms that extensions take. There's a fair bit of docs around what those are. I'll give two very quick and maybe semi-random examples. In Meshery's dashboard, there are widgets here. There is, at this very moment, not an extensible framework. Well, how should I say it? Soon, people can create their own dashboard widgets and export them and pull them in and sort of have them write their own and bring them into their Meshery deployment. At the moment, as an individual user, you can customize the layout and the size and which widgets you want to use. Maybe you don't care about the latest blogs, so you remove that from your, but anyway, just a random example of the various ways in which Meshery is extensible. Notably, one of those ways that Meshery is extensible is through its adapters. Adapters interface with Meshery server over gRPC. Each of these different Meshery extensions, they come in different shapes and sizes, like I said, so they plug into Meshery in different ways. The Meshery adapters are, well, I just said it, they interface with Meshery over gRPC. Most of the adapters that have been created to date are written in Golang, and they're kept in their own repository. And but adapters don't have to be written in Golang. They just have to adhere to the gRPC API, the interface that Meshery server exposes. So without going into more details, what I'm trying to say is that there is a current proposal to break out Meshery's extensions into a separate org. And there is a written description, sort of justification as to why that proposal is being made out here in the mailing list. So I encourage all of you to go form an opinion and express your opinion. here in Slack in the discussion forum, or like in a response to that email. Of those that are familiar with why this is being proposed, is there commentary? Are there remarks or feedback or questions about, concerning this?
I think like one question about the adapters, like we don't package them as like, do we package them as Golang package also, like, because I think they would also need to be migrated for some of these.
Nope. Each of these adapters, these Golang adapters, they're freestanding repositories that they are similar in fashion, in that they do largely leverage the same Meshery adapter library, the same like a centralized Golang library. They also leverage the Meshkit as another centralized library, but they are capable of building and running and being released independent of the Meshery server.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. So,
Lee, I have I think it's a very basic question, but what of the reasons why you're proposing that we move this to another repo is the fact that you don't want people to perceive this as a service mesh tool. I just want to ask, I think the name Meshery was probably coined from like service mesh. So in moving all this repo, are we going to remove the prefix Meshery to them and change it to something else?
we could, yeah, that wasn't that's not part of the proposal, but they could. These, like for these adapters, at the moment they only work with Meshery. It is a bit redundant, to like have it in the name of the repo as well. So yeah, I mean, if you think that that's a good move, we just either say more now, or maybe part of what you're pointing out is like, hey, one of the reasons why we would split this out is so that people don't go to learn about Meshery, go to like digest what the project is, take a look at it and see like, wow, this thing, there's like 10 or 12 repositories all about different service meshes. This must be, that's why they called it Meshery. This must be a service mesh centric tool. Yeah, I don't use the service mesh, forget about it and move on. That's in part why we would want to break them out. The name Meshery is like, that's a done decision, or like that's it. Like the amount of investment and goodwill built toward the name is staying and stuck. Meshery, in its original design and its original goal, was never to be constrained to service mesh. It was intended very much so originally to be service mesh centric and to help people choose between and manage multiple service meshes. But the architecture that was done originally and the architecture that continues to go forth is agnostic of the specific type of infrastructure. In fact, that's why none of the service mesh specific functionality was built into the server itself, but was separately built into adapters. There was sort of an inflection point, maybe around the version 5 or so, where Meshery's core functionality had escaped, or it was greater than the functionality that you could find from the adapters. And as of about 7.0, the adapters themselves are not being maintained. Like, it's just too much for those that are here to upkeep them, and it's not for lack of trying on some people's parts, but it's like this combination of it takes a fair bit to maintain each of them. And there's so much functionality just out of the box in the server that there's less incentive to work on those specifically. And so part of the justification for the proposal to split is to help send signal that these extensions, they are, I don't know, we have to think through this, but it's sort of like there's an implied like use at your own risk, or these are community supported, or like it's not that Meshery itself isn't community supported. Like you were all here and supporting it, and so it is community supported, but it's to send signal of like where the focus is and where your mileage might vary between them. It's also to help provide a space to elevate other work, like some of the work that like you, Ijoma, have been involved in on different types of extensions, and not just those adapters, but and to allow them to give them some, well, hopefully more freedom than they have right now to move independently and to, yeah, I mean, that's some of the, anyway, any other thoughts from folks? Any other, there's time. This is just sort of an initial, like, hey, let's get the conversation started and thinking through it. And if we garner enough support or people are sort of head nodding, then eventually that we put it out for a vote, and we can put it out for a vote now, but yeah. There's some, just as you all go to contemplate this, some of you are thinking like, I don't, that's interesting. Thanks for sharing that, Lee, and thanks for bringing us into this decision-making process. Although I don't feel either qualified or really know like why it would be bad. Why would it be bad? Why would it be good? Isn't it just more to manage and stuff? And go ask all those questions, Also, here's a couple of examples of other prominent projects, 2 graduated projects, Kubernetes and Crossplane, that have a similar setup. So just as an example with Crossplane, there's a Crossplane contrib or org, and in that org, there are any number of, providers or plugins. So you can, if you're using AWS, you might use this provider and turn it on and plug it in with your Crossplane deployment. If you're not using GCP, then maybe you don't turn that one on. And so, anyway, a bit of a reflection on why it is that some of these other projects have done similar things might also help with other thoughts, comments. I think we're just over the hours.
And just to add to this, right, as we get closer to CNCF, looking at taking us to sandbox and all of that, this will help, them understand where our focus is, and makes it a bit more specific, to okay, yeah, so this is Meshery, this is what needs to go to the next phase. Okay, so these are the core parts of it and all of that. And also aesthetically, it's not overwhelming for someone, who's just coming in. We kind of had a similar discussion last night as well. And I think that looking at the growth and where we headed, separating them into separate orgs is probably easier and better now than, to kind of do it later.
Yeah, thanks for that. There's a number of things that should be attended to or considered, like, like this, the CNCF creates a project velocity report about once or twice a year. And the project velocity report, so here's one that was just released a month or 2 ago. The way that these reports are written, part of what gets accounted for is all of the activity within GitHub. And if we take a look, there's 200 and something projects in the CNCF. Meshery is the 9th highest velocity project, and it's a little baby sandbox one. So thanks to you all, in part, Meshery is, not in part, I mean, like, there's this isn't just like how many commits are done on the project. This is a multivariant, like, analysis of which ones are moving fastest based on a few different metrics, and you can read the post and you'll see. But a lot of those metrics come from GitHub, and so one of the considerations is, hey, if we want to continue to rank well and be accounted for, all of the work that you all do to be accounted for properly, there's one small consideration is, hey, does that cause issue, or can we ensure that that same org is brought in under the same governance and is a sibling, that these two orgs are siblings, I guess is the. But yeah, I mean, to Sangram's point, I think one of the things that wasn't even highlighted in the proposal is it's like really the clarity of helping people comprehend at a snapshot what it is that Meshery as a tool offers them in terms of value. And it's easier to do that when there's just less to look at. It's part of the thing. So that's not the reason that the proposal is there. Rather, there's a bunch of reasons, but that's one of them. Any other thoughts before we call it a meeting? So if you're not subscribed to the developers at Meshery.io mailing list, I encourage you to be. This information about the security slam will go out. Some of the maintainers here, including myself, are promising to be better at using that as a venue. Like, there's so much activity that happens in Slack. Like, it tires me out every time I wake up in the morning, just like, which is awesome. There's so many of you guys doing some great things. But there's so much of it that's easy to miss. And it's ephemeral, right? And the Slack history goes away, and it's hard to search, and it's confusing as hell if multi-threaded this, that. And so, but email's been around for a little while longer, so sometimes it's easier to find. And it's indexed and searchable through Google and things. So we'll improve there. Okay. Did we miss anybody? Anybody? Okay. No. Thanks a bunch. Hey, successful meeting. Next time somebody else should host, not Lee. He can't even end the meeting on time. What the hell? Okay. All right. We'll see you guys later.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.